Hey folks, it's the Zero State of Mind, aka still the guy in the camper. Thought I'd do a quick video tonight. It is Saturday, March 2nd. I was let go from my job, 3 days ago, 4 days ago. Uh, Initial shock has worn off, and just slowly coming to grips with the fact that my 23-year career in telecom is probably over in this economy. But not going to let it get me down. It's part of the system. It's part of the process. We're seeing a meltdown that is deliberate. And I came to you in the beginning of this series with a message of hope. And I'm going to stick to that. So, what I want to talk a little bit about today is the fallen world that we live in. And I call it the fallen world because it's mostly run by fallen entities. Some human, some debatable. I don't want to get into the whole alien conspiracy thing or anything like that just yet, but I have my doubts as to whether all the entities are human. But plenty of them are. And the whole system is sort of dictated by what I would call fallen code. Just like we talk about in the software development industry. You know, you could have good code and you could have bad code. You could have some code that runs amok and does some bad things, and you got to go and troubleshoot and figure out why that code is doing what it's doing and try to fix it. So we live in a world that is largely dictated by fallen code. So the question is, how do we troubleshoot it and fix it? Well, as best as I can see, the way we do that is remind ourselves that we are creatures of energy, frequency, and vibration. That everything around us is energy. Again, even the atoms that make up our cells are just balls of energy running around at very high speeds and frequencies and vibrations, oscillations. And if we keep that in mind and we elevate our frequency, then we can start to operate in areas of existence where those lower vibration entities can't reach. So it's not to say that we want to ascend, sort of feel like we're better than. It's not about that. It's learning to function at a higher frequency that we were really meant to be. All of us. Every spirit that is here having this human experience. If you got this far in this video, most likely you are one of them. And just because somebody else hasn't watched this video doesn't mean that they're not. Chances are pretty good that most of the people you know are one of us and can raise their vibration. In other words, it's not going to be a battle that you can fight with kinetic tools or political lines or nations. It's not going to happen. Look around at what has happened throughout the world in the, let's say, the past 100 years, 200 years. We haven't been too great at solving problems through kinetic energy. Some of the battles, of course, had to be fought. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying I think we're evolving now to a point where everybody's tired of the same old, okay, destroy the economy, time to go launch new battles again, usually orchestrated by some of those entities that I was talking about earlier. They want you fighting each other. They want you in a low vibration state, blaming each other because that way they can manipulate you, keep you small, and keep you from realizing who you truly are, what you truly are. From recognizing that you have within you an immense amount of power by tapping into that divine spark, shutting off the analyzing mind, and connecting with the source code, the universe, that thing that binds us all together. And realizing that what we do to one, we do to all. What we do to ourselves, we do to others. What we do to others, we do to ourselves. There's no escaping it. You may think you get away with something, but it has a nasty way of coming around it at you again. Many of us refer to this as karma. Well, karma is really a human construct. It's the trap that we spring on ourselves. Just like we create our own prisons, our frequency prisons. So the way to combat the fallen entities that rule this world, this fallen world, is to raise your vibration, is to catch yourself before you lash out, before you look at everyone through the lens of your past traumas, as we all do, including myself. I have a very low threshold for abandonment trigger. And if I don't catch it, I can spiral downward into lower vibration state. That's born from a very interesting childhood and the traumas that I suffered in that childhood. Not telling you this because I want pity, telling you this because like everyone, I can fall prey to my past traumas, and I can fall to looking at the world through the lens of my past traumas, listening to people through the ears of my past traumas, and so on. The only way out of this vibration trap is to recognize that it's happening and to reconnect with our higher selves. I can't get into all of the possible solutions for that in this just one video, but it's just to start getting you to start thinking about the lower vibration versus higher vibration. How we're capable of going in either direction. And it doesn't take much of a nudge to go in the downward direction. Those of us who have past traumas, and many of us do, probably most of us, it's a very real pain. And when we live our life through the memory of that pain, we have the potential to propagate that pain into our present and our future, and to not just ourselves, but to others as well. So the analyzing mind and memories are wonderful things. They serve many purposes, especially if you look at us from an evolutionary biology perspective. But if we live in that analyzing mind, perceiving the world through the memories of our past traumas, then we lose our ability to experience our authentic life and create a meaningful future, because we get stuck in the past. We get stuck in the memory of who we were. And that memory becomes our existence. And if we're not careful, it can damage our relationships with other people in our lives. So I will be posting more on this throughout the series. Just kind of wanted to scratch the surface on that one a little bit more today. There are also other folks on YouTube that have an excellent beat on this sort of thing. And I post links in the description for all kinds of spirituality and awakening channels that I like and respect. They're in the description. You can kind of thumb through those, so to speak, and check them out as well. But I promise I'll also be putting more out there on this to kind of fine-tune things and give you something tangible to work with, right? I'm just talking mostly conceptual today, but I will eventually talk more pragmatic application, if you will. One more thing I want to talk about as we come to the end of this video real quick is also start thinking about self-sustainability. This is another way to counteract the fallen code. Finding your personal sovereignty, your ability to connect with nature and take care of yourself, rather than relying on a large system to take care of you. We all do this. I mean, unless you're in the remote areas of Alaska somewhere, watching this video, and you can sit back with a little bit of a smile and say, I've got this one. Most of you and me are still in this boat. We're learning how to become self-sustaining. We need to do that, and we need to do that quickly. Time is running out. As the economy gets worse, as we get pushed into more and more conflicts, both here at home and wherever you are in your home, where your home is, and abroad, all of these things are going to make it harder on all of us, even just from a survival standpoint. So learn to do as much as you can for yourself. Growing food, your own food. Hunting, if you can. Fishing, if you don't already know how. I love fishing, so I can't imagine anybody that doesn't already know how. But I suppose it's possible. But learn how to fish, hunt, grow food, grow plants, uh, grow crops of any kind. Learn how to do things with your hands. Use hand tools, things that may not necessarily even require power. All kinds of self-sustaining skills. Learn how to sew. Learn how to make shelters and things like that. Again, I have lots of sites in the description below that can help with that as well. And also, I'll be posting some books and recommending some books that you could look into as well. I love the visual of watching somebody actually do it. So that's why I put links to other channels down below, but I'll also show you some books along the way as well. So to close out tonight, I'm actually gonna show you a couple of books that I think are well worth having in your library. So the first one that I think you should look into is this one, and I hope that's gonna reverse when I I hope that camera that's gonna reverse. But if it doesn't, I'll post it in the description too. It's the first time I'm actually holding up a book on the camera. So you may learn a lesson tonight that I have to do something in order to reverse it. Hopefully it's just that I'm an idiot and I'm just looking at this as the recorder. I don't know. I'm new to this stuff. Okay, so that's the first one. This is especially good for, I think, people that want to learn who may live in more confined spaces. So, and then the last one, the second one and the last, is this one. Again, it's, I guess it wouldn't change, of course, but it looks reversed to me. But again, I'll post it in the description. But this one it's got all kinds of self-sufficiency stuff in it, or stoof, as Johnny Bravo likes to say. Stoof. It's got a lot of stoof in it that I think is really powerful for somebody that's wanting to learn how to be self-sufficient. So look around for that one. Again, I'll put links in the description. so that if this was reversed, you won't have to rely on the image. You'll be able to look down below. And I'm gonna post a lot of these. I have quite a library, and it's ever growing. And like I said, I'll put channels down below as well that you can go and learn some of this stuff hands on. Hands on. You'll see people doing it, which I think is very powerful. Um, I love the channel My Self Reliance when it comes to watching somebody actually build log cabins out of nothing. It's just a guy, Sean. The guy, I think the guy, his name is Sean James. His channel is called My Self Reliance. Um, I have the link down below, but not only do I get a kick out of watching him build log cabins with his dog, and sometimes he has a guest on, his daughter, but he doesn't do a lot of talking, so it's almost therapeutic to watch this guy build his cabins. And not to mention, I have already learned so much by watching. I'm like, oh man, I probably would have screwed that up, if I hadn't seen how he does some of these things. If I'm going to build a log cabin. So if you're going to be in a place where there are excess trees that you can use to build your log cabin, um, it's good to learn that skill, and good to watch somebody that's been doing it for a while. So um, anyway, last but not least, as a follow-on to all of that, becoming self-sufficient, I would say, is part of it needs to be planning to get out of and away from the cities. I understand if you have to live in the city or the near suburbs of the cities now, but try as best as you can to come up with a plan to have some land somewhere well away from the cities. Even if you get the plot of land now and you don't do anything with it, just to have it, slowly but surely build a plan on how you're going to get out there, what you would call a bug out plan. Start thinking about that, please. And again, I'll post more videos and books on that sort of thing as well. But really, really start thinking about getting away from the cities. Because when things go from bad to worse, that is where things will go from bad to worse first. So I'm practically begging you that if at all possible, please get away from major cities. The planning for that needs to start now. Not trying to scare you, I'm trying to aware you. Again, raise the vibration. Think, don't think about what we can't do or how bad things are. Think about what we can do and how good we can make things. So I'll shut up now. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.